So everybody wants cinematic footage, right? But what does that actually even mean? For a lot of people, they think that means switching over to 24 frames per second, as if you go into your camera settings, you make a few adjustments, set it to 24 FPS, and all of a sudden you're making a movie. But then you try that, and it's not quite right. Something's off. And you don't necessarily know what that is because you don't necessarily know what cinematic is. And really, it's not your fault because I don't think anyone really understands what cinematic really is. Also, a lot of people don't understand what frames per second are. They don't know what that actually means and what it does. So in this video, I'm going to break down 24 versus 60 FPS or frames per second, and I'm going to explain what that means, how it affects your footage, and when's a good time to use each one of those different settings. So let's get into it. So when you open your camera and you go into your settings and you see all these numbers, 24, 30, 60, 120, or even worse, the decimals like 23.976 or 59.14 or 94, 59.94. You look at all this stuff and you're just like, what's going on? It's just a bunch of numbers. I don't get it. At first glance, those numbers are just numbers, but really they affect the way your footage looks and feels. And if you don't understand what those numbers mean, then every time you shoot, you're just kind of guessing and hoping that your footage is gonna look good. So let's break it down in a way that actually makes sense. So first things first, what is FPS or frames per second? Here's something that I think a lot of people don't really ever consider. Video isn't actually video, at least not in the way that people think of it, because you're not actually capturing motion, you're capturing a series of still images and then playing it back quickly. So in essence, every second of video is just a series of photos that your camera captured and then played back in quick succession. Hence, 24 frames per second. If you're shooting at 24 FPS, then your camera takes 24 frames, 24 photos every second, and then records that as a video. Whereas if you're shooting at 60 FPS or frames per second, your camera's taking 60 images every second. And the idea being that in each frame, things are gonna be slightly different because things are constantly moving, kind of like the way my hands are right now. And then when you play back those images of things moving within the frame, your brain just kind of connects those stills and that creates the illusion of motion. So really motion isn't actually captured, but rather it's created from still images. So the difference between 24 and 60 FPS is essentially how many steps exist in between movement. So right now, for example, I'm shooting at 24. If I move my hand from here to here, I'd say that was about a second. There's 24 steps that happen between that hand position and that hand position. Whereas if this was shot in 60 frames per second, there would be 60 steps in between here and here. So really there's just a lot more still images in that kind of in that there. It's a little complicated, but really it's not. It's actually super simple if you just think about it. Hear me out. Bear with me. Let's continue. So 24 frames per second feels more blended because there's less happening in between. So there's more room for kind of motion blur. Whereas 60 frames per second feels more precise because it's so much more like ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. You get what I'm saying? You know what? Let's not overcomplicate this. Let's cut to some B-roll. Check this out. This here is 24 frames per second. And this is 60 frames per second. Look at the difference in each motion. In the 24, the movement tends to blend together more. You can actually see the blur of the hand moving. Whereas in 60, you see more detail in each step. So there's less blur. 24 feels more like what you would traditionally think of as film, and 60 feels more like real life because it just seems so sharp. Now, because there's so many extra steps in the 60 frames per second, that's actually where it becomes a lot more powerful as a tool when used properly. Insert slow motion. If you shoot at 60 frames per second and then you slow that footage down by 50%, you're effectively playing back 60 frames over 2 seconds. So now you're seeing 30 frames per second in slow motion, and it still looks smooth. There's no missing frames making it look jittery. Whereas if you try to do that with 24 frames per second, when you slow that down, you're left with essentially 12 frames a second, which is just not enough frames to play back smooth footage. So it starts looking more like a flip book, which is why 60 FPS is what you typically want when you know you're gonna slow something down. That being said, here's something that people don't typically talk about too often. Just because you're shooting it at 60 doesn't necessarily mean you need to slow it down. Sometimes you might actually want that look for things like action shots or sports or anything with, high intensity, things that are moving fast. Because 60 FPS shows more detail and motion and it seems more gritty and real. And if you want something with that real gritty, high intensity look, then 60 frames per second is what you're gonna wanna shoot with. By comparison, 24 frames a second feels more like you're watching a story. Whereas with 60, it feels like you're in it. Now let's bring it back to this idea of cinematic, because that's where everything kind of connects. Cinematic isn't a setting per se. It's more like an obscure or even arbitrary aesthetic, because I don't think it's one thing. It's cinematic is an amalgamation of all the things. It's your lighting, your settings, your angles, the movement even, and how that's seen through the lens, and even your colors. More specifically, cinematic is the angles you choose and how your subject moves through the frame alongside the direction of light. I feel like with those things, that's what makes it intentional. Which, if you think about it, if you just popped out your phone at a beach and recorded your friends running through the sand, probably no one's going to give you an award for that, if I had to guess. But that's just kind of a thing that happens in the moment. But on the flip side, when someone is making a film, they're planning everything out so far in advance. Everything is with full intention. The shots are exactly as they want them to look before they ever even pick up a camera. And I think that is what we perceive as cinematic. When someone puts together the the scene rather than just letting the scene happen. I guess it's kind of why no one ever thinks about like maybe documentaries being super cinematic compared to like Marvel movies. Because while documentaries are oftentimes intentional, there's a lot of things that are outside of your control because you're documenting things as they're happening. So you can only do so much with the things happening in real time. Whereas with a movie or a film, everything is planned out way in advance. So everything is intentional. Granted, there are some incredibly cinematic documentaries out there, but you get what I'm trying to say. Like, things are outside of your control. So not everything can be cinematic or, cinematic. But we're getting away from the point. Here's another thing. Here's a setting that kind of ties it all together. There's this thing called the 180 shutter rule, and it is very important. It's crucial in achieving that quote unquote cinematic look. Now, all it means is that your shutter speed should be roughly double that of your frame rate. So if you were shooting at 24 frames per second, then your shutter speed should be double that, meaning 48. Now, most cameras don't actually have a shutter speed of 48, so you round up to 50. That's fine. And if you were shooting at 60 frames per second, then your shutter speed would be 120. And this isn't a hard rule, not a super hard rule, but I'd say it's a pretty firm rule. Ultimately, you do what you want, but this is kind of the general rule of thumb. Like, you always want to have your shutter double that of your frame rate. And that helps you control motion blur. If your shutter is too fast, then the motion in the footage is going to look very, very sharp and almost harsh. Whereas if you have an accurate shutter, double that of your frame rate, then the motion blur looks a lot more natural. Because truly, if you just wave your hand in front of you really fast right now, you'll see in between your fingers, kind of, it's blurry even to your own eyes. So if you want it to look more natural, you want to have a little bit of blur in the video because your own eyes aren't used to seeing things moving so sharp and crisp. Now, let's say you're outside and it's bright daylight and there's a ton of light coming in through that lens of yours. Maybe you're shooting at a 1.2 and you got that nice, super blurry background. And you're using the appropriate 180 shutter rule, so your shutter is set to 50 while shooting at 24 frames per second, but there's bright sunlight and your image is way too overexposed. What happens now? Naturally, your first instinct would probably be to raise your shutter, but then you're losing that natural motion blur. So then you think again and you go, okay, I'll raise the aperture. But if you raise the aperture, you lose that background blur that looks so nice. And your ISO doesn't get any lower. You're already shooting at 100. So what do? This is where an ND filter comes in handy, specifically a variable ND or variable neutral density filter. You might have heard of it before. Everyone says it's basically just sunglasses for your camera. You put it over your lens and it helps cut the light out entering the sensor. And it being a variable ND, you can actually adjust the intensity of the filter, allowing more or less light to come in depending on the lighting conditions that you're in. And these things come in a bunch of different levels of intensity and different brands and price points. So just find one that works for you. Typically, I always say buy it nice or buy it twice, but you get what's within your budget and hopefully it works well. All that being said, here's a takeaway. 24 frames per second is your main look. That's typically your A-roll. That's the story you're telling. 60 frames per second, that's more so for slow motion and high intensity, things that feel gritty and raw, action scenes and stuff like that. Keep your shutter speed at double that of your frame rate. And if it's too bright outside, bring in a variable neutral density filter or even just a standalone ND filter. That works too, but the variable makes it more convenient. And use that to control the light. And the most important thing to remember, stop chasing cinematic as a setting because it's not something you can just turn on. It's how you shoot, how you plan, how you move, how you light. That's what actually makes something feel cinematic. So if this video helped you understand the differences between 24 and 60 frames per second and how that affects your footage, do me a favor, go ahead and hit that like button. So hopefully more people can see this and we can all get on board with making better and doper content. And if you're looking to get better at photo and or video, then maybe consider subscribing. Mostly because I'm trying to get better and seeing you guys kind of joining this little community I got going on here really motivates me to make more content and make more videos and learn more and do more and be better. And I want to keep this going. And I want to try to break this stuff down in a way that actually makes sense. That being said, I hope this video makes sense. I feel like sometimes it's hard to kind of stay on track with all these thoughts. You start running off on different tangents, explaining all these other things that are maybe surrounding or running parallel to the main thought of the video. But it's hard talking to the camera in here by myself. I'm working on it. I'm trying to be better, trying to do more. So hit that like button, consider subscribing, and drop a comment down below. Did you guys like the video? Did it make sense? Do you understand the differences between 24 and 60? And when do you use those two different frame rates for what kind of projects and for what kind of footage? All right, I'm rambling. I'm doing too much. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.